For over 5 decades, the moon has been a ghost, a silent monument to a time when humanity dared to leave its cradle. Since December 14, 1972, no human heart has beaten more than a few hundred miles above the Earth's surface. We became a species confined to low Earth orbit, looking up at the moon not as a destination, but as a memory. But the silence of the lunar plains is about to be shattered. In 2026, the Artemis II mission isn't just a flight. It's a roar of defiance against the idea that our best days are behind us. Why did it take 50 years? Why now? The answer lies in a complex web of technology, politics, and a new vision for our species. To understand Artemis II, we must understand the gap. For years, we lacked the heavy lift capability to return. We had the dreams, but we didn't have the chariot. Today, that has changed. Artemis II is the bridge between the pioneering spirit of the 20th century and the permanent lunar presence of the 21st. This is not Apollo 2.0. This is the beginning of the lunar gold rush. In this 40-minute deep dive, we aren't just looking at a timeline. We are looking at the physics of the SLS rocket, the biological toll of deep space radiation, and the harrowing 10-day journey that 4 brave individuals are embarking upon. We will explore the free return trajectory, the invisible gravitational highway that will bring them home or leave them stranded in the void. Welcome to the breakdown of humanity's most ambitious journey in half a century. Let's talk about the machine. To break the shackles of Earth's gravity with enough momentum to reach the moon, you need raw, unadulterated power. Enter the Space Launch System, or SLS. At the base of the core stage are 4 RS-25 engines. These are the great-grandsons of the Space Shuttle engines, but upgraded for the 2020s. They burn a mixture of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, creating a blue-white flame that reaches temperatures of 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But the real kick comes from the 2 solid rocket boosters strapped to the sides. These white pillars provide 75% of the total thrust during the first 2 minutes of flight. Once ignited, they cannot be turned off. They are a controlled explosion that forces 4 humans through the max Q zone, the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure where the atmosphere tries to crush the rocket like an aluminum can. And then, sitting atop this volcano is Orion. If the SLS is the muscle, Orion is the brain. Unlike the Apollo command module, which used mechanical switches and primitive computers with less power than a modern toaster, Orion is a glass cockpit marvel. It features 3 large display screens and over 60 physical switches. But the real magic is hidden in the service module provided by the European Space Agency. This module provides the power, the oxygen, and the propulsion for the crew. It features 4 solar arrays that track the sun like a sunflower, ensuring the ship never runs out of juice. Inside the pressurized cabin, the crew has 330 cubic feet of space. It sounds like a lot, but for 4 people for 10 days, it's a closet in the cosmos. But Orion's most critical feature for 2026 is its avionics. It is designed to be fully autonomous. The crew is there to test, to observe, and to take over if the ghost in the machine fails. They are the ultimate backup system for a billion-dollar computer.
When the countdown hits 0, the world changes. For the 4 astronauts inside Orion, it isn't just a ride, it's a physical assault. The SLS doesn't just lift, it punches through the atmosphere. Within 60 seconds, the crew is traveling faster than a bullet. They are pushed back into their seats by 3 gs of force, their bodies weighing 3 times their normal weight. At 2 minutes and 12 seconds, a massive jolt shakes the cabin. This is SRB separation. The 2 giant boosters, having spent their 2 million pounds of fuel, are jettisoned into the Atlantic. Now, the 4 RS-25 engines take over completely, burning silent and steady as the sky turns from blue to a deep, bruised purple, and finally, to the absolute black of the vacuum. But Artemis II doesn't head for the moon immediately. This is where the mission differs significantly from the 1960s. In 2026, safety is the priority. Orion enters what is called a low Earth orbit, but only briefly. After 1 revolution, the upper stage, the ICPS, fires its RL-10 engine to raise the spacecraft into a high Earth orbit. In this HEO phase, the crew stays for 24 hours. This is the most nerve-wracking waiting room in history. The orbit takes them 42,000 miles away from Earth, farther than any human-rated ship has gone in decades, and then brings them back close. Why this delay? Because space is a one-way door. In 2026, NASA engineers want to ensure that every system on Orion, the carbon dioxide scrubbers, the communication arrays, the manual flight controls, is functioning at 100%. If something breaks during these first 24 hours, the crew can simply fire their thrusters at the low point of the orbit and land in the ocean within hours. During this phase, the crew performs the proximity operations demonstration. They use the discarded ICPS rocket stage as a target. Victor Glover will fly Orion manually, approaching the rocket stage to within meters, testing the ship's handling qualities. In the vacuum of space, there is no air to push against. Every movement is a delicate ballet of thruster bursts. This data is vital for Artemis 3, where Orion will have to dock with a SpaceX Starship in lunar orbit. Finally, after 24 hours of testing, the go signal comes from Houston. The ICPS fires for the last time. This is the translunar injection. The speed increases from 17,500 miles per hour to over 24,000 miles per hour. The rubber band of Earth's gravity is finally stretched to its limit, and it snaps. Orion is now a bullet aimed at a target 240,000 miles away. The crew looks out the window. For the first time since 1972, the Earth begins to shrink until it can be covered by a single thumb held at arm's length. They are now in the deep void, where the only thing between them and the moon is 3 days of empty space and the silent threat of cosmic rays. Once the translunar injection is complete, the engines go silent. For the next 3 days, Orion is coasting. But don't let the word coasting fool you. Inside the cabin, the crew is engaged in a constant battle with the most hostile environment known to man. The first major obstacle is the Van Allen radiation belts. These are 2 giant donuts of trapped solar radiation surrounding the Earth. In 2026, we have much more data than the Apollo crews did, and we know the risks are higher. The astronauts are flying through a storm of high-energy protons and electrons. To protect the crew, Orion's engineers designed a makeshift vault. In the event of a solar flare, a sudden burst of radiation from the sun, the crew must move to the center of the capsule. They would stack their water supplies, food rations, and even their uninstalled seats against the walls to create a denser barrier. Every inch of mass counts when you are trying to stop a subatomic particle traveling at the speed of light. But radiation isn't the only challenge. There is the human factor. Orion has about the same interior volume as a small camper van. For people must eat, sleep, work, and use the bathroom in this space for 10 days without any privacy. In 2026, the technology of space living has evolved. The food isn't just cubes and tubes anymore. The Artemis 2 crew has a menu designed to fight menu fatigue, a psychological condition where astronauts lose their appetite due to stress and monotony. They have everything from spicy Thai green curry to shrimp cocktail, a NASA favorite because the spicy horseradish helps clear sinuses, which often get stuffed up in microgravity as fluids shift to the head. The most critical machine in the room is the environmental control and life support system. It's a closed-loop system that must work perfectly. It removes the CO2 the crew exhales, maintains the perfect mix of nitrogen and oxygen, and manages humidity. If the humidity gets too high, condensation can form behind the electronics, leading to a short circuit, a nightmare scenario in deep space. But beyond the mechanics, there is the view. As they move further from Earth, the planet loses its power. It stops being the ground beneath their feet and becomes a fragile blue marble in the dark. This is the overview effect. Looking at Earth from 200,000 miles away often changes an astronaut's perspective on life, politics, and humanity forever. But they can't look back for long, because ahead of them, a giant is growing. The moon, which started as a bright disk, is now a massive, cratered world filling the forward windows. They are about to enter the moon's sphere of influence. The moon's gravity is reaching out to grab Orion, pulling it into the shadows of the lunar far side. The moment of peak tension has is now hurtling toward Earth at speeds that would vaporize any other vehicle. They are lined up for a corridor in the atmosphere only a few miles wide. Hit it too steep, and they burn up. Hit it too shallow, and they skip off the atmosphere like a stone on a pond, lost in space forever.
The final 24 hours of the mission are a race against physics. Orion is approaching Earth at a staggering 25,000 miles per hour. At this speed, the atmosphere isn't like air, it's like a brick wall. To survive, Orion performs a maneuver never before attempted with a crew, the skip entry. Imagine skipping a stone across a pond. Orion dips into the upper layers of the atmosphere to bleed off some velocity, then jumps back out briefly before the final plunge. This reduces the G-loads on the crew and allows NASA to precisely choose their landing spot near the coast of California. Outside the window, the temperature rises to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, half the temperature of the surface of the sun. This is the ultimate test of the Avcode heat shield. As the material burns away by design, it carries the heat with it, keeping the astronauts inside at a comfortable room temperature. Then comes the blackout. For several minutes, the plasma sheath surrounding the capsule blocks all radio signals. Houston can only wait. The silence is broken by the roar of the chutes. At 25,000 feet, the drogues deploy. At 8,000 feet, the three main parachutes open. Orion slows from 300 miles per hour to a gentle 20 miles per hour splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. The capsule hitting the water. Recovery ships and helicopters approaching. The hatch opens, and the crew breathes fresh, salty Earth air for the first time in 10 days.
So what did Artemis 2 actually achieve? It wasn't just about a look at the moon flyby. By successfully completing this mission in 2026, we have proven that our deep space life support works. We have tested our navigation in the lunar environment. And most importantly, we have cleared the path for Artemis 3, the mission that will put the first woman and the next man on the lunar surface.
But the moon is just the beginning. NASA's ultimate goal isn't the lunar South Pole, it's the red deserts of Mars. The moon is our proving ground. If we can learn to live and work 240,000 miles away, we can survive the 2-year journey to the red planet. As we watch the Artemis 2 crew step onto the deck of the recovery ship, we aren't just seeing the end of a mission. We are seeing the birth of a multi-planetary species. The 54-year silence is over. We are going back, and this time, we are staying. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If you want to stay updated on the Artemis 3 landing and the future of Mars exploration, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. The era of deep space has just begun.